Thank you so much to Cricut for sponsoring this video. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for this week's video. I will be showing you how I took an IKEA cabinet and turned it into a beautiful freestanding pantry. This is perfect if you are a renter like myself or have a small kitchen and you just don't have a designated pantry and you don't want to use up all of your limited cabinet space storing your food. I am obsessed with how this turned out, so make sure you stay all the way until the end to see the big reveal. I am going to absolutely butcher the name if I try to tell you what this cabinet was, but I'm going to have it linked in my description box below if you are looking for the same one. This one in particular was $300, and I chose to pay more money for this because it's solid pine, and I just felt like it was a nicer quality piece of furniture that I can bring with me wherever I'm living next. But they do have a line, I want to say it's by Billy. They make a very similar cabinet that is a lot cheaper. So you do not have to buy such an expensive cabinet to get this same look. I just wanted to make sure that I had some really good quality. To make this cabinet look just a little bit more high-end, I knew I didn't want to use the knobs that came with it, so I'm just using some spackle to fill in those holes, and then once it dries down, I will sand it off, and then I have a fresh surface to paint. Building this cabinet did take me quite a while because I was actually miserably sick when I was trying to do this, but I did have the help of my 3-year-old. It was really cute. He did a really good job actually screwing in everything. I didn't think he'd be able to do it, but he did, and he was so proud of himself. Moving on to the next day, I had pretty much finished assembling the cabinet, but I had just a couple more shelves that I had to put in, so I'm just gonna put the rest of it together right now, and then I'm gonna move on to painting the doors. I went back and forth on this in my head so many times because I was just scared to make a bold move like this and paint these doors black because I thought it looked nice just white, and I was just really scared that if I painted it I was going to regret it. But I decided to just go ahead and do it before I could talk myself out of it. And the color that I'm using is Tricorn Black by Sherwin-Williams, and I think it just turned out perfect, which you'll see later on in the video, but I'm so glad that I went with my gut and I decided to paint these black.
I find it hard to read you. You never say what's on your mind, yeah. I'm going crazy all over you. Just for a second, can you try? Every time you've been calling, saying this is what I want.
This was a while later, and I'm just applying my second coat of paint. I only ended up needing to go in with 2 coats of paint on these doors, and it looked perfect.
Pull me in, push me back. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can someone set me free? What do
These are the pulls that I went with. I ordered them from Amazon and then I spray painted them using this Krylon metallic copper color. I heard that you were supposed to sand them down a little bit before you spray paint them to help the spray paint adhere a little bit better. I don't know how true that is because I've never done this before, but they turned out really nice. Now to create my labels for my pantry jars, I'm going to be using my Cricut Joy. If you've never heard of the Cricut Joy before, it is a cutting machine. I love it because it's super portable and small, but you should not be fooled because it is definitely powerful. This machine is perfect for creating labels. You can make cards. It can cut up to 20-foot rolls as well if you're doing a bigger crafting project. And you can do this anywhere. You just need to download the app, which is actually currently only available on iOS devices. As you can see here, I'm just fiddling with the app a little bit, trying to find a font that I like and a style that I like for my labels, and then I'll connect to my Cricut Joy using Bluetooth. I used Smart Vinyl to print all of my labels, and the cool thing about Smart Vinyl is that you don't even need a mat to cut it, so I think that's pretty awesome. It could not get any easier. You just insert your material and hit go, and your Cricut Joy will start cutting away for you. When I did my test cut here, I went with white and I ended up changing my mind and deciding to go with the black Smart Vinyl, and I'm definitely glad that I did that because it looks so much better and it just pops on my glass jars. And once your label is printed, it's really easy from there. You're just going to use the weaving tool to remove it off of the backing, and you're going to use some transfer tape to transfer it over onto your glass jars. I love the way that this looks and how professional it makes all of my labels appear to be. I just can't believe how easy it is to do this, and I wish that I had this sooner because I can think of so many different projects that this would have come in handy, and I cannot wait to continue to use it in all of my organization projects coming up. But with the holidays right around the corner, I think this would be the perfect gift if you have a crafty person in your life, or just buying it for yourself because you can make gifts for other people. You can label everything in your home. I love this machine and I would highly recommend it. So I'm going to have a link in my description box below for you to go and look at the Cricut Joy. You guys are going to love this machine. I am completely obsessed with it, and I just want to say thank you so much to Cricut for sponsoring this video. While my Cricut was working on cutting, I decided to open up all of the glass canisters that I had purchased and get them washed and ready to go. So the ones that I bought were by Threshold and I got them from Target. A 4-pack was $22, I want to say, which actually is not that bad for this particular thing. I saw another set there that was a 3-piece set for $50, so I felt pretty good about this purchase. Glass canisters can be crazy expensive, but I do think that places like Dollar Tree have things like that, or Walmart may have some that are even cheaper, but Target is just the most convenient thing for me, so that is where I went. But if you are interested in these particular jars, I will have them linked in my description box below. Now we're going to spend some time just weaving all of the vinyl labels off and getting them on the transfer tape and ready to be put on the jars. This can be kind of a tedious process, but I, for some reason, enjoy it.
Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Everyone always keep falling in love again. What's wrong with them? I don't understand. Maybe it will pass by. Someone save me before I pass out. I'm too lonely to be done. I'm a drink at this point.
Now finally, we are going to start filling up all of the jars. This was so satisfying to finally get to this step, and I just can't wait for you guys to see the rest of the video and see how this ended up looking on the freestanding pantry. It was just beautiful, and I'm like amazed that I did all of this myself.
If I had an option to be someone else, I would, and like all of you. I know that I'm obvious, yet I'm made this way. But why didn't I stay when I had the chance? Maybe it will pass by. Someone save me before I pass out. I'm too lonely to be done in my drink at this pace. Yeah. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain with nobody to hold on to? Ooh. Why am I the only one who's feeling this pain when there should be two of us? And yeah, I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy to you.
Now we're starting to get to the fun part, so I'm beginning to assemble where I want all of my jars. I wasn't really doing this with any rhyme or reason. I just tried to keep things where they made sense. So on one shelf I put like the spaghetti and the pasta, and then on the other shelf doing things like the brown sugar, powdered sugar, things like that that just seemed like they go together. But I think it all ended up turning out perfectly. It makes perfect sense, and it's very visually appealing.
Wish I could say I was finally over you.
It's still a little bit early for Christmas, and I know that, but I figured while I was doing this, I would just decorate it for Christmas because I had purchased some new things from Target as well. Their Wonder Shop this year has some really adorable decorations that are like right up my alley, and I've been purchasing them like crazy, so I'm using a couple of those there. And then I also put some icicle lights that I've had for years just to add something a little bit extra. I have never put hardware on cabinet doors before in my life, so this was a first time thing for me, and the easiest way that I could think of to do this was to use a piece of painter's tape, spread it across, and poke holes where I would be drilling holes on the cabinets, and then I just put the tape on the doors and made sure that they were level and in the center, and then it just made it really easy for me to drill pilot holes and then finally screw in the new hardware. Okay, it's the next day now. I feel like I have been working on this forever, and I am loving the way that it's turning out. I got my doors on last night, and I think they look so nice. I'm just so happy that I ended up going with my vision and painting them black, because I started to second guess myself a little bit, and I'm just so glad that I went for it, because I think it totally changes the look of the whole thing. So I just had my Cricut print a label for this top middle jar, which is breadcrumbs. And I was considering actually spray painting all of these lids like the same copper color. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments if you think I should do that. I just don't know if that will mess with like the integrity of the lids. I'm really not sure. Make them like unwashable or something. I don't know. I'm not like a seasoned spray paint user. So you guys will have to let me know what you think, but I am so excited for how this is turning out. And now I'm going to finally organize the actual pantry. Well, not that that's not a pantry portion, but the inside of it. I'm going to take everything out of that cabinet and get it moved over to here. So finally about to get to that. I had purchased a slide out spice organizer to try in this cabinet, but once I put it in there, I realized that I didn't really like it and I felt like it was going to waste a lot of space. So I'm going to return that. But the next thing that I did was empty out my original pantry cabinet, and it's crazy because the other pantry cabinet is a lot taller, obviously. I mean, you know, the new one is a lot taller, but this one had a lot more shelves and it was just taller on the inside. But I couldn't fit a ton of stuff in there. And in this new cabinet that only has 2 shelves, the shelves are a lot deeper. I can fit a ton more food. And I just feel like the way that I organized it makes so much more sense. This isn't going to be like a Pinterest perfect organization, because that's definitely not what I'm going for in a cabinet that you're just not going to see. But I think I did a pretty good job, and I just tried to organize everything in groups. So I had all of the breakfast things together, all of like the pastas and the dinner sides and beans and things like that together, and then a section with all of the snack type foods, and then a baking section. So it makes sense to me, and I like the way that it turned out, but it's not going to be like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right, then I'm wrong, hoping I'll be fine. But I get up, I always do. I never think, I always do.
I cannot recommend enough having a freestanding pantry cabinet if you're living in an apartment. I was really struggling when I first moved in here because I felt like all of my cabinet space was being taken up by food. I couldn't see anything because my cabinets are so high, so I'd be standing in front of them and not be able to see what food was actually in the cabinet. So just going out and buying that closet-made pantry cabinet made such a gigantic difference for me, and it's so nice to just have somewhere else to store your food and not be taking up all of your valuable cabinet space with your food. I had some more Target things come in, some more Christmas decorations, so I'm just kind of reassembling what I had already done and making it look as pretty as I can. Here is the finished pantry cabinet. I am so proud of myself for this one, you guys. I worked so hard on it, and for a minute there I was afraid it wasn't going to turn out quite like I had envisioned, but it definitely did, and then some. There is just something to be said about storing some of your pantry items in glass containers with beautiful labels. It just looks so simple and pretty, and it's just so functional as well. I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. I hope that this video gave you guys a ton of ideas on how you can organize your pantry or how you can utilize a freestanding pantry cabinet if you have a small kitchen or you're also a renter. And I just want to say thank you for watching, especially if you have made it this far. You guys are the best. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps my channel and it means a lot to me. Once again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you will come back again next week for another video.
What do I every time you come